prediction to the Mavericks versus Clippers Game 7 is going to be an absolute great one. It's going to be so much fun. I am definitely leaning towards Mavericks as I love Luka, man. Like he's a top. He's like behind Steph. He's my favorite player in the NBA. Also, I love Dame, but he's probably my second favorite player in the NBA. And if they won Game 6, that would have been great. But at the same time, I want to see Luka versus Kawhi in Game 7. That's exhilarating, folks. So let's see it. Heavyweight fight. Kawhi versus Luka. At this point, Paul George and Kristaps Porzingis doesn't really matter. I mean, Paul George equals Porzingis plus Hardaway. But even then, Kawhi is like four times Paul George. Honestly, Paul George is just, he's fine, but Kawhi Game 6 just, that man was clutch tonight, folks, after a pretty rough Game 5. And Luka didn't play bad, but then again, he only had like 2 threes or 1 3. He didn't have a 3 till like 4 minutes left. And I think that's going to be a big key to the game. So just to set the stakes, winner moves on, loser goes home. So it's a big deal tonight. I definitely think there is maybe 20 times the amount of pressure on the Clippers. If maybe even more, to be completely honest. Mavericks is still a young team. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on Kristaps, not really anybody else. I mean, obviously, if Luka lays a complete egg, a complete dud, people are gonna talk about it because Luka's averaging like I don't know how many points, but he's not. Luka's consistent enough that he'll drop at least. I think he'll drop 30 tomorrow, at least 20, and and that 20 points would be underwhelming. But again, it wouldn't be like nationally talked about. If the Clippers lose, it's like, okay, top 3 favorite to win the whole thing is out. Kawhi, is he still the man? And again, out of the first round of the playoffs, is Paul George still an elite player, or is he just a pretty good player? Is the Clippers going to be a contender next year? Is Kawhi getting old? Is Paul George getting old? And you don't want that to happen if you're a Clippers fan, because then things happen, trades happen, and it'd be a tough offseason to keep all those pieces together. I know there's a lot of money getting thrown at Kawhi and Paul George here, folks. But then from Dallas' side, again, there's pressure on Kristaps, but not really anybody else. Again, Luka, if he just duds it completely, but he's not going to. But yeah, so. Let's go to my keys of the game. My keys of the game is who will play better. So I have 3 keys. First key, who will play better? That's my most important key. Kawhi or Luka. I think the person who plays better will win the game. Right? Just straight up will win the game. I think if Kawhi drops 50, but Luka has 20 in the fourth, the Mavericks are going to win that game. Again, vice versa. If Kawhi drops 40 and 12 and 13, there's just no way, I mean, Luka could do whatever he wants. They're not winning that game. So it's just, when you're in huge games, your superstars need to play great. And if Luka plays better than Kawhi substantially, I would say if Kawhi or Luka play better than the other player by a good 25% margin, that team is going to win. My key number 2 is what other player is going to step up. There's a very good chance that Kawhi and Luka trade points back and forth, that their level of play is within that 25% margin. Kawhi might be a little bit 20% better than Luka that day, maybe 5% better for Luka that day. Then it's up to who's that second player that's going to get it done. People would think it'd be Paul George, right? And if you're a Clippers fan, that's who you're relying on, right? I think the Clippers have a better 2, but the Mavericks have a better 3 in Hardaway. So when you look at it from that point, the Mavericks have 2 pretty good possibilities to really step up as that 2 role. And the Clippers got 1 really good possibility for the 2 role. But it's who going to step up in that 2 role, right? If you're a Mavericks fan, you're looking at either Kristaps or you're looking at Hardaway, right? Those are your guys. And then occasionally Kleber can just pop off, but, he had 0 points today, so I'm not expecting that. And I think if that 25% margin is there, and it's going to be who number 2 players. If those 2 players are pretty well stacked, is the defense. Defense does win champions to a certain extent. Especially in the playoffs, guys. Especially in the playoffs. Who's going to be able to stop the superstar? Are the Mavericks going to be able to double team Kawhi, force the ball to Paul George, and then pressure Paul George, and then make that third person score? Or are they gonna let Paul George shoot it and hope he misses? It's who's gonna have the better defensive scheme, and this is where coaching really comes into play. Are you gonna double Luka like they did this whole game, or are you gonna hedge him all game and then force him to give it up to Kristaps, who can't shoot for his life right now? Give it to Kleber, who can't shoot. Hardaway's their only other guy. Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna hedge him off the screen? Or are you gonna let Luka go 1-on-1 against the best defender in the world, arguably, in Kawhi Leonard, and hope Kawhi just out defends Luka? It's really, really hard to do that against Luka Doncic, but it's possible with Kawhi. So that's the 3. Number 1, who's gonna play better, Kawhi or Luka? If Luka plays substantially better than Kawhi, the Mavericks will win. If Kawhi plays substantially better than Luka, the Clippers will win. Number 2, who's gonna step as the number 2 guy? Especially if Luka and Kawhi kind of X each other out, right? That's Kristaps, whether it be Hardaway, whether it be Paul George. Number 3, who's going to have a better defensive scheme to stop the superstar? Is that doubling Kawhi the whole game? Is that when you see Kawhi miss a couple threes to pressure him on the 3 ball and not let that shot going? Is that continuing to hedge Luka? Is that not switching and pick and rolls? Is that letting Kawhi fight over it? Is that putting, mixing up your Kawhi defender, because Luka doesn't seem to be getting done right now? Maybe try a more lengthy defender like Porzingis, Hardaway. Would you try switching to a 2-3 zone, 3-2 zone? I know it's risky, but would you try it? Sometimes you got to. When the superstars are playing, you got to switch it up. With all that being said, I believe Luka Doncic will play better than Kawhi Leonard. Substantially better. So that's why I have Luka Doncic in the Mavericks winning. Kawhi has a history, especially last year and throughout the playoffs this year. He's played really, really good in Dallas, Clipper Stadium, Staples. He's laid an egg sometimes. Game 5. You see Skip just throw the Kawhi shoes, bro. His beloved Kawhi shoes. He just throws them to him. That's how frustrated some Clippers fans are with Kawhi sometimes, especially at home. And there's a slight history there of him just kind of laying an egg in crucial games and playoffs. He didn't do that against the Raptors. Will he do that tonight? I think he'll still have 20 points, 5 rebounds, or 8 rebounds and 5 assists. But I think Luka's going to have 45, 12, and 10. I think he's going to drop a triple-double, folks. And that might sound crazy, but Luka's done it before. He's near averaging a triple-double. And I believe in Luka. I think he's going to play 40, 43 minutes. And he's going to dominate the game. If Kawhi does end up playing as good as Luka, though, it's going to be tough, because I do think Paul George is a substantially better 2 than Hardaway. And I also think the defensive side of the ball, the Clippers are better. So really, it comes down to, can Luka play better than Kawhi? If that doesn't happen, I got Clippers. If Luka doesn't play substantially better than Kawhi, I got Clippers all the way. But if that does happen, then I'm taking Luka, folks. And it's going to be a fun one. I'll give the final 110-104. No OT. I envision a game. I think the Mavericks are going to have a 10-point lead at the end of the first. Clippers are going to get down to 6 at half. And then Mavericks are going to go up by 8 going to the fourth. And again, The Clippers just aren't going to be able to cut it down. They'll cut it down to 6, but they wouldn't do anything past that. So there we go, guys. As we reach 10 minutes, leave a like if you made it all the way to the end of the video. It takes you 2 seconds. You clearly enjoyed it a little bit, so help me out. Help the algorithm out to recommend this to more people if you like the video. Subscribe down below if you really like the video and you want to see more of our content. It also just, it is really good for our channel to grow if you guys subscribe. It means a lot to us. And leave a comment down below who you got in arguably the most interesting first round of the playoffs. Mavericks versus Clippers. Baby Bird, or Baby Sparrow, Skip and Shannon call it, versus Kawhi, the monster defensive legend, Kawhi Leonard. What Kawhi will we get? Let's see, folks. It's going to be fun. Subscribe, like, comment. I'll see y'all later. Go Mavericks and peace out.